I am Tassos Chronopoulos, the founder, president, and CEO of the Tassos Group LLC. I had built a monument to peace in the village of Palos Heights here in Illinois, and part of the things that I wanted to show him and that I had done at the time was also the monument to peace. The fact that you and I can drive around this town and feel secure, and no Russian plane coming around or Chinese bombing us, we owe it to somebody. And this somebody is our armed forces. So when I heard about the 8 young men that they lost their life to trying to save the prisoners in the helicopters, using the helicopters to try to save the prisoners in Iran and bring them to the United States, I felt there was a need for someone to wake up and do something. And in the village that I was living in, the village of Palos Heights, there was nothing there, not even a flag in front of the city hall. So I spoke to the mayor, Mayor Simpson, and I said, I want to build a monument here at no cost to the city. I will design it, I will build it, and we'll have it to honor the 8 people, the 8 men that they lost their lives. It was the Carter's era at the time. And he gave me the green light, and so did the city council. But at the time, they were calling the Vietnam War as a conflict, not as a war. And in Vietnam, we lost more people than we lost in Korea. So for me, the Vietnam War was very close to home because I lost a lot of my classmates. So I decided to take one of the wings of the monument and dedicate it to all the men, list all the men that we lost, men and women, that we lost in the war, starting from the Civil War to the Vietnam War, war by war listing. And in front of it, the monument has the names of the 8 men plus their ages. My father saw this monument and read what I had put on the stone. He asked me the question, what have I done for the place where he was born, where I was born? And that was a punch in my stomach, basically. When he passed away, around the cemetery, there were olive groves. And even though the tree is the most ancient tree in the world, and the ancient Greeks were cultivating it and pressing the olives and making olive oil and selling it all over Europe, and even planting the trees around the Mediterranean Sea, in Italy, Spain, in Northern Africa, and what today is called Israel and Turkey. No one had done anything at that time. So I decided to do something, for the place I was born. And that's where the story about the olive started. This is where we introduce a stuffed olive in the world, stuffed with almonds or garlic, and double stuffed with garlic and jalapeno or almonds and red peppers and all kinds of things. And this is where we started pitting the olives before we pressed them to make olive oil, and I call it olive juice. And not use any additives or artificial coloring or preservatives, but giving the American consumer a very natural product which helps their health rather than hurting them. Upon graduation, I went to work for U.S. Steel, and as a design engineer, and we were, at the time, we had big problems with waste management. And our goal was to try to stop, specifically the introduction of acids from the steel mills in East Chicago, around the Gary, Indiana area, to Lake Michigan. And we were very, very successful in doing that. In fact, I was sleeping in my office and not going home at night because we were under investigation by the federal government. So we were very successful to design waste treatment plants and clean up the lake. But because of the problems that we had at the time, there were a lot of riots against U.S. Steel, and especially our design offices down on LaSalle Street. I decided to look else for work. There was an older person, his name was Tony Antoniou, who had the Anvan Corporation in Glen Allen, that approached me and gave me his business card to go and work for him. Because he had a project in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, right next to the lake, and he had to have a waste treatment plant in order to build the buildings and allow the lake to be free of waste. So I went to work for him, and the rest of it is history as far as the design and construction business is concerned. We were doing the modular construction buildings in Elk Grove Village. We're pushing hotel rooms from Elk Grove Village to Lake Geneva, to Itasca, to here in Glen Allen. And we did shopping centers and malls. And in Highland Park, we have done a lot of condominiums. But it was the building that we did in Philadelphia, that the Holiday Inn, that during the Jimmy Hoffa era, that brought me to a point to get away from construction because it was scary at the time. The unions, you did not know what they were going to do to you. I used to fly with 2 different names to Philadelphia. In fact, one time I flew to Philadelphia with Muhammad Ali sitting across the aisle from me. And when I landed there were a group of people sitting in line and I thought they were to honor him. But when I got out of the airport, I was thrown into a car. And that car took me to a roofer's union guy who told me that or I have to have union guys there working for us, or the building is going to go up on fire. So it was scary, and I decided to stop all this. And then I went to open up my own shop, the CF Tassos and Associates, which was doing as a designer a contractor the work for Anvan, and also our own business. And as I said earlier, when my father came in, I was still doing construction and design. And when he saw the monument, and he told me what he told me, what have you done for Greece, I decided to turn my attention to olives and olive oil. I believe I have achieved the American dream through hard work, concentration in not losing my integrity, and considering anyone that has been employed by us, by my company, whatever companies I had until this one, as a member of my family, not as just an employee. When we started, nobody knew that Greece was producing olives. To achieve this goal, I used the Chicago Marathon as a stage, just as I used the Olympics that took place in Atlanta as another stage, by giving as an award to the Olympians the olive wreath that they would put on their heads to call them Olympians. I worked with the artists in Greece to do these. Here in Chicago, in order to inform everyone, not only Mayor Daley, not only the LaSalle Bank, that was the first bank that supported the Chicago Marathon, but the press also. I had to get olive branches from Greece to show them that really Greece had olives. So he was trying to get people to believe me through evidence, but not through just me talking. So it was a very hard and steep hill to climb. But since then, as I said earlier, since integrity is very, very important to me, we're able to do what we have done today. My father and his family is an example to what you do as an immigrant in the United States. He left the top of a mountain outside of Athens with the brother of his mother. His name is Yannis Paraskevopoulos, and walked all the way to Athens. No campus, no cars, no nothing at the time except their feet and their legs. They work hard. Especially Yannis Paraskevopoulos was shining shoes downtown Athens. But yet, he ended up getting a PhD in economics in Germany. He came back to Greece to become the president of the National Bank of Greece. And during elections, the king and queen that we had then will appoint him as the prime minister. My father did the same thing. He went to the press. He was very much involved with the newspapers. And he believed that if you work hard, you get something in return. So his message to me all the time is that I did it with my own sword, you do the same. But when he found out that I was playing basketball, he got very upset. He almost beat the hell out of me. And if it was not for my grandmother, his mother, to put her dress over me to protect me, he would have killed me. Because she said, God did not put your brains between your arms and your legs. Put them between your ears. You better use it properly. He was a lover of education. He will bring us the encyclopedia in segments, and then he will go in and he'll put the leather cover over it. And we had, me and my sister had to read every magazine that he will bring in and pass a test from him before he will allow us to go out. So my mother did the same thing. She was a sort of woman full of energy, and she would do great stuff. Her tablecloths, her embroidering in tablecloths, and ended up at the Prime Minister of Greece dining room and Kings and Queens palace. They all started from nothing, and especially after World War II, it was harder to do anything in Greece until in the late 60s. And this is what is driving me. To be able to give to the American consumer a quality product that will help them. I can tell you a joke about this thing, but you will not believe it. We started the double stuffed garlic jalapeno olives at Costco in Los Angeles over 30 years ago. And one night my secretary comes in and says, George Lucas is calling. I thought it was a Greek looking for us to participate in philanthropy. I said, I don't have time to talk to him. So she started showing me how planes are flying. He had made this movie then. And I said, when the hell is George Lucas? He said, you better call him. Answer the phone. So I did. And he says, we have a funeral in our office. And I says, sir, who are you? What are you doing? He says, we're making film, we're making movies. So, and we better have them. So I said to him, the only place we're selling, and this again, integrity means everything, is at Costco. He says, well, I went to Costco, they don't have it anymore. I said, the only way you can buy it, I will send you something from here. He has a ranch over there in California that makes the movies. But the only place you can find is a Costco. So the next morning I get a call from the buyer at Costco who says, did you have to have George Lucas to call me? I said, no, I did not call him, you called me. So this is the answer to the success. Having satisfied customers, consumers, where if they don't, your product is not anymore on the shelf, they call you and they say, I want it. And why they're satisfied? Because they know whatever they put in their mouth, it's natural. No chemicals, no additives, nothing else except the olive, water, some salt, sea salt, and here and there we're going to put, let's say, a little basil or a little something to make it taste better. But that's it. That's the reason to success. Integrity is the most important thing. Not to take advantage of the consumer is so important to me, because no one took advantage of me. I have two great kids, my daughter and my son, who are both graduates of Anna from University of Michigan, her master's, my son Michael, all of them started from Purdue, at Purdue University. My son Michael at Loyola in neuropsychology, almost got a PhD. And my other son, my middle one, 40, will be a gynae. Maybe this is the reason of my success, that I never had to worry about my kids or my grandkids. Not maybe, it is. So it will be up to them how this company is going to go. Until now, you can find our products in Canada, in Mexico, in France, in UK, in Iceland, and now we're going to open Australia, and it is a 30-year-old story. It's a very challenging market. The currencies are changing so much, but during the biggest crisis in the United States, we never let one of our employees go home. We never asked the government to give us any help, and we're moving on.